Hello, everyone. Have this side.
Yes, Vishal.
Fantastic, ma'am. Hope you can hear me well.
Yes. Just if you can share your slide. Just giving you permission to share. We'll make you the co-host so that you can
Sure.
share it.
Sure, ma'am. So we're waiting for a few more minutes, right? We'll start sharp at 2.
Yes, we shall start it too.
Fantastic.
Vishal, can we have just one check with your slides?
Sure, ma'am. Just give me 1 sec. Hope you can see my screen now. I hope the screen is visible now, right?
Yes, it is visible. It's visible. It's perfect. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Vishal,
Yeah.
can you please press the record button?
Sure.
Yeah.
So I'll keep the record to the cloud.
Yes, record to the cloud.
Sure. It started, ma'am.
Yes. Thank you. Yes. We'll start now. It's
Sure.
sharp 2. We'll just start off. A very good afternoon to all the participants who have joined to this session of FDP. It's a pleasure to welcome you all to the 5-day national level FDP organized by Adarsh Institute of Management and IT. And this FDP, as you all aware of, is about marketing analytics for strategic decisions, a case-based approach. And this series of FDP is going to start as of today, from now till the 28th of April. And each of the session will be from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. So we are so glad that we have received an overwhelming response to this FDP. In fact, this is one of the series of FDP on the subject of analytics that we are organizing. The first one was on HR analytics, and this is the second in the edition, and this is on marketing analytics. And in fact, we are so thankful to all the participants who have registered from across India. We have participants from Kerala to Gurugram, from Gujarat to Kolkata, totally from about 32 cities. And we are so glad that we have registrations from some of the top-notch institutions in the world, including IIM, Trichy, Wellinger, Savitribai Phule University, and so on and so forth. We would like to extend a very hearty and warm welcome to all the participants. So we have in this series, we have in marketing 5 sessions. That is the first one being today, that is marketing analytics and measurement metrics. So this will be an overview on what are the metrics that need to be monitored, that are monitored by the industry, and how it is going to add value, each of these metrics, and how analytics can be used such that the metrics that are tracked can be used to make useful decisions for the organization, strategic decisions for the organization. The second session is on customer segmentation and targeting, so analytics related to customer segmentation and targeting. And the third one is on product analytics. So here we are going to talk about test marketing and demand forecasting. We'll be working with some forecasting models. And then on the fourth day, we have place analytics. Basically, here we are looking at market basket analytics and RFM analysis. And the last day would be on customer analytics. And here we are going to focus a bit on sentiment analysis and customer lifetime value. So these are the 5 sessions that we have planned in. And today's session, we are so glad to invite the resource person for the day, Mr. Vishal Lakhmani. A very warm welcome to you, Mr. Vishal. He's an IT leader with data and analytics experience, with overall 14 plus years to his credit, with major exposure in the FMCG industry. He is currently working as an associate director with Cargill, and he's leading the data migration for APAC region. And in his past, he has worked with Tata Consumer Products, leading efforts on digital enablement for commodity sourcing, which is responsible for procuring commodities like tea, pulses, spices, salts, etc. And prior to this, he has worked with companies like Unilever and has led projects across the globe in data and analytics space. In addition to corporate, he also enjoys teaching analytics related subjects and takes up training programs in B schools across India. And with this short, brief introduction, I would like to also communicate that our director, Dr. Venkatraman, has extended his warm welcome to the resource person as well as to all the participants. He has not been able to make it today, but probably he will be joining somewhere through the session. And with this, once again, welcome to you all, and hope you have a wonderful time, with a lot of value adds for the time that you spend through our sessions. And over to you, Vishal. Thank you.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you for the warm welcome, and thanks again for the opportunity to be part of this wonderful crowd, and taking time today to be part of this wonderful session with all of the intellects that we have as part of today's session. So very good afternoon to each and everyone. Thanks for taking out your time to spend some time with me. And I always believe learning together. I'm not here to give something which is out of the world. It's all the corporate experience that I have. Would be happy to share with all of you with the case studies or with the, I'll not say case studies, but yeah, when I come from corporate, I say those are the live experiences that I bring it on the table. So with that, would like to just quickly share up my screen, and it would be helpful if anybody can confirm if you can see my screen.
Yes, it's visible, Vishal.
Fantastic, ma'am. So first I'll just give you a little bit of a brief on how I have structured today's session. So today I'll be first talking about a brief on the metrics. Why do we need actually a metrics in any organization or any particular process? Uh, Second, then I'll be talking you about a little bit on the marketing side of it, where, as you know, marketing has today evolved like different facets of marketing, right? When we were previously starting organizations like in 2000 and something, marketing used to be only having one form, but now you have multiple forms of marketing through which you spend the money to have an impact on your goods and services for sales. So we'll be taking with you the examples on different marketing metrics. And as I come from FMCG industry, you will mostly hear the examples from me coming out from an FMCG industry. And I feel it's also relatable with everyone because everyone is tied up with FMCG product in their day-to-day life. So that's the second part. Couple of cases, or I would say couple of scenarios, which I will be sharing with you, which is on first of all on the customer data platform, how that is something which is originating now. That's one of the case study or the scenario which I'll be sharing. Second is the profitability of this at the sales and the channel level. So how in different organizations have been part of the projects where we have derived that which particular channel and which particular product, etc., and how we have derived the profitability at a channel and sales level. So those are the two case studies or live scenarios I'll be sharing with you. Second half of the session, I have planned it for a practical exercise on a tool called Power BI. So hope everybody has that installed. In case you do not have, request you to meanwhile on the site, please install Power BI on your laptop. I'll be just sharing a simple data set in the second half of the session. And we'll be trying to do certain metrics on the basis of that simple data set so that we can relate the theory with the practical part on how do we do that in the organization on the ground. So with that, I move on with today's session. So let me just flip my slide. So starting with metric. So if I say in simple terms, to measure the health, to measure the tracking, and to benchmark any process in an organization, we use a metrics. Whenever we implement, let's say, a new application like SAP or any other ERP, we measure the health processes of the business using health metrics. For an example, how many process orders did we had before implementation of ERP versus how many are we doing with the new? Similarly, the definition of metric says is the quantifiable measure that is used to track, evaluate the performance of a particular process, system, or activity in an organization. With respect to marketing, metrics are used to measure the effectiveness of marketing campaigns and strategies. The word effectiveness says ultimately in the dollar term is what is an impact on your sales. Today, if I go to my leaders in the organization, as an IT professional, they always ask me, you have asked me with so much of budget, I've given you, tell me what's an impact on sales. So similarly goes with marketing as well. How much is the dollar value I'm bringing on the table? With the term effectiveness, I mean it out. It provides the data on the range of key performance indicators, such as like your website traffic, conversion rates, customer engagement, return over investment. These are certain examples with related to digital marketing that I've kept it. Because as you know, that digital marketing have been very, very prevalent in today's era. So other examples also have been listed below, like the cost per acquisition of the customer, the return on the ads that I request to please go on mute in case you're not speaking up. Thank you. So cost per acquisition, return on the ad spend, these are again some of the examples of metrics. Now, apart from this, any metrics that you keep it, be it marketing or anyone, I'll suggest always, always, always keep a metric related to a value. For an example, people do share number of new traffic leads that I've got on the website, right? That's a value. But convert it into the percentage form. That's the second thing. The value and the percentage both matters. In certain organization where the numbers are really big in size, where on one side you see a growth of 2%, 3%, but when you see the denominator, it might be really, really, really big. So at that point of time, the value is also important with the percentage. Most of the metric conversions that we have it is normally kept in a percentage, but I would say the value also matters because a 2% increase in a market share because of, let's say, 0.2% increase of the marketing spend, right? That has a big impact when you showcase that value. So make sure that you first of all take a balance of value versus percentage, when to show the percentages, when to show the value, when you have a metric. Second thing is always benchmark. So any metric when we have, we start measuring it out. But over the period of time, you should definitely benchmark that what's my target at a particular point of time. For an example, in 2 weeks, what's my target versus my 4 weeks, what's the target? That helps me to track if I am spending the right amount of money at the right place, specifically in terms of marketing. If I'm spending on some ads on the Facebook campaign, I need to benchmark on the reach, on the conversion of the leads, etc., from a metric perspective. I need to benchmark if I'm doing up a performance marketing with the help of email marketing, that how much is the reach that I'm expecting it to be done in 1 week. And out of those 1 week reach, how much of the traffic I'm expecting at least to have a click on my email to come onto the site to at least see what I have promoted or what I have done as a campaign, right? So always keep a benchmark. A benchmark helps you to uh, quantify your journey across the overall period for which you are trying to measure something. So that's very, very important from a metric. So keep a percentage or a value associated and always keep a benchmark. That's the second thing. That's I would like to say from a metric perspective. Rest everybody knows from our definition, so I'll not spend much of a time there. I'll maybe jump. Any questions before I jump on? Or probably we'll keep the last 20 minutes for the questions then. So let me just jump on to the next slide. Few examples that I have broken it down into different buckets over here. Those I have put it up from an FMCG perspective, where we use marketing metrics to get certain value or get certain return out of our investments that we have done. So first is measure of the market share. We have organizations like Kantar, we have organizations like Nielsen, which gives me the overall market cake data. So for an example, let's say if I have to see the market share of, let's say, the Tata Tea product that I may have, let's say Tata Tea Gold, and my equivalent competitor is Taj Mahal, right? Which geography, which location, I get the overall market data from Nielsen, AC Nielsen, and IMRB like companies. That at least helps me to tie up my product to my competitor's product and see in that particular segment what's the share of value and what's the share of volume that I am holding it out. I'm not sure if you everybody knows HUL in terms of tea in the country holds the highest market value share, but Tata's they hold the maximum volume share. Why? Simple example, the cost of a Taj Mahal versus a Tata Tea Gold is expensive. So they turn to have a maximum value because of the high cost of their products. So I get such data and I divide that on the basis of segmentation of the product. And then I compare where do my products stand in terms of the market share, in terms of value and volume. It tells me my penetration in the particular region, in the particular city, in the particular state, where I need to spend more money or where I am prioritizing to get more into, right? On the second side, it also tells me the overall market at a particular region. For an example, if I want to expand my reach from one state to another where my presence is not there, of course, I'll first have a look at the overall market that a region has. and then only I'll think whether it's a viable investment for me as a firm right now or not, or what's the priority in terms of reach that I want to make it out, right? So that's where uh, the market share data is very, very important at a granular level to understand the own market share and also understand the market size. The third comes is the value weighted distribution. This tells me my product's presence in the number of outlet on a certain square meters, or let's say if I say a 3 by 3 square meter area, and imagine I have 100 kirana stores in that 3 by 3 square meter area. What is the number of outlet on which my particular product has a presence on, right? That's the value weighted distribution. So it measures the overall number of outlets on the shelf where my product is available. Then comes the share among the handlers. So share among the handlers means, let's say there were 100 kirana stores, and in that 100 kirana stores, I have a presence on, let's say, 70 kirana stores. Now, in that 70 kirana stores, what is the overall share of the value of sales of my product? Let's say if it is an example of toothpaste. So if an overall value of sales of toothpaste is 100, what is the contribution in that 100 for my product of sales? So ideally, if you multiply your weighted distribution to the share among handlers, which is the share of sales, you also get your market share. That's the second way of validating the data of yours versus what you have got through the research agencies. So those are few. And third is the out of stock. Now, out of stock is out of sales or losing the sales. Of course, if I go to a shop and if I don't find up a toothpaste, let's say Colgate, definitely I'll pick up a close up and come back. So number of times, and this is a random surveys which is being done, number of time the outlets which are part of my handlers have gone out of stock, or I have not been able to deliver them. So that's your out of stock, which is being shared into the category of measurement of market share. The second comes is the penetration and the brand recall. Now, specifically in the FMCG space, if again I talk about, Kantar have been the market leader into this, where Nielsen captures the market share while Kantar goes at a household level and they take up the data from a household level with respect to consumption and with respect to what they use. The first is, let's say, the household penetration. I at a granular level or at a consumer level, the first was the market share was as a customer level. Now it's a consumer level. At a consumer level, I see it out. How many households today use my product? That's your household penetration. The second is the monthly consumption. How much of my product capture their pocket size in terms of monthly consumption? And then overall, how as I as a firm or I as an organization is part of their pocket size? What is the percentage? The third is the brand recall and the top three brand recall, which goes hand in hand. If I take up a name of a category of a product, what is the first brand that comes in my mind? That's the brand recall. And the top three brand recall, what are the top three brands that, of course, come into your mind? So that's certain KPIs that we, of course, measure from a brand recall perspective. Now, coming to the next category, which is on the secondary sales, every organization is bothered about their inorganic and the organic growth, right? So, from an inorganic growth perspective, the sales team always have a target to add the unique outlets that they have added every month or every 6 months. That's your inorganic growth. Organic growth might be, let's say, last year you had 1,000 outlets. Now this year you're going to have new outlets, let's say 100 added. So the sales which is coming for this year from those 100 outlets are your inorganic growth. So hence, from an inorganic growth perspective, the unique outlets that we build every year, that's part of your secondary sales, or that's part of your secondary sales KPI from a marketing perspective. Of course, why it's a marketing and why not sales is a question that I would say. It's a marketing because It's ultimately impacting your reach. The new outlets that you build, it's the expansion of the reach that you have done, right? Hence, from a marketing perspective, the new outlets or the unique outlets that you have built is important. It also tries to see that whether my channel or my what percentage of sales is coming from which outlets, right? So unique outlet built every month. Secondary CC fort. CC fort is known as customer case fill on time. How many times you have been able to deliver the goods to the customer at 100%? Let's say the customer ordered you 100 and you have been able to deliver 90, right? So that is customer fail, case fill. So that means you are 90% customer case fill for a particular order, for that particular order. Now then comes on time, which is comparing the lead time that you had as part of the promise versus the actual time in which you have delivered. Let's say your lead time was 10 days and you delivered in 11 days. You have fall by 10%. The multiplication of both of them is your CC fort percentage. So what's your CC fort? Because CC fort helps you to again track your loss of sales that would have happened or out of stock that would have happened. So number of unique outlets built every month is important. Number of the percentage of the CC fort is important. Uh, then it's the unique outlet build added or the new outlets added, right? So every month, as said, there's a target to add new outlets, right? How many number of outlets you add every month, and what have been the sales of those unique outlets in past 6 months, let's say, to again compare the inorganic growth that I was talking about. So first point, which is unique outlet build, tells you in terms of, let's say you have 1,000 outlets, but your billing is happening only to 200 or 300 outlets, then what your 700 outlets are doing. It defines your reach percentage. How spread is your reach in terms of region, in terms of state, in terms of city, right? Is it only 20% of your customers who are selling 80% of yours, who are contributing to 80% of your sales, right? So that's where the first point comes into. The addition of the new outlets define your inorganic part. And comparison of the past 6 months sales helps you to identify how much have been your inorganic versus inorganic sales, right? So before I go on to the next one, which is number of bills cut, just wanted to bring a difference between or wanted to just check, does anybody know about what's the difference between primary and secondary sales? I've listed a point actually on top secondary sales. So what is a primary and what's the secondary sales in FMCG? Anyone?
Billing to from the company to the distributor retailer, that's what you are doing is primary. And the movement from the distributor, dealer, retailer to the end consumer, that's what we call as secondary.
Yep. Thank you, Dipindu. So in a simple language, what we say is the absolutely you're right. The point at which the entity of the goods which gets transferred from the company to the customer is your primary. Let's say if I take an example of HUL, let's say HUL have their own uh, regional warehouses, and then let's say HUL has their own state depots or mother depots. From mother depots or state depots, let's say it sells the product to the distributors. So distributors transfer of the product from the mother depot to the distributor is the point at which the legal entity of the goods or the ownership of the goods gets transfers from one legal entity to another, right? So HUL was a legal entity having the possession of goods in their stock, in their system as a stock. Now it's transferred to your distributor. So that's your primary sales. All the rest, which is happening from distributor to wholesaler to retailer to consumer, is your secondary sales. Similarly, from a distributor to your uh, modern trade outlets like your DMart, Big Bazaar, etc., all are your part of those secondary sales. So primary sales data is very, very much available because I know today as an organization, let's say HUL, where my product is. but it's very difficult to get the secondary sales data, right? That's where we have the applications like a distributor management system, which is DMS, from which I capture all of this. At the end of the day, it's organization who spends the marketing budget on the different channels to have an impact on their reach, right? So that's where I have this concepts of UOB, which is unique outlets built or added every month, the sale of the new unique outlets in the past 6 months. The last is very, very important, which is called number of bills cut. The number of bills cut measures the number of bills in which your item has a presence. I'll again share up an insight. And this was probably around 3 years back. The highest number of bill cut came when I was part of HUL was Vim 250 grams. So that was the product which was present in the highest number of bills. So measuring the reach on the basis of number of bills cut is also one of a metric. Because at the end, it tells me how many of the number of customers, or sorry, not the customers, but the consumers who have bought your product. So it again impacts your reach in terms of marketing. So these are few which I have bucketed in the secondary sales bucket of FMCG. The third comes, or sorry, the fourth comes is the media reach, which is the spend which I do it on media and what's the reach of that. First is the share of voice. We get the data of the ads which run on TVs from organizations like broadcasting agencies, which gives you the data on the TRPs, etc., which tells you, let's say, if this was entire day 6 hours in a television on a channel, the ads were displayed, what was your share of the number of minutes, which was that? How much minutes have your ads been displayed on the particular channel? So that's your share of voice. The second comes is the social media analytics. Today, with the help of Facebook campaigns, when we run, right, easily we can see the reach of our campaigns, how many people have clicked on our campaign, and it tells me the people who have come up till the landing page, how many people have come from the landing page to the sales page, and then how many have ordered the product, right? That's all part of the social media analytics that we do. The third is the performance marketing analytics. Now, marketing and sales today have never been, or now it's not been into silos. Previously, marketing was being considered as an expense function, but today marketing has also started becoming as a instead of being a cost center, it has also become a revenue center now. So it has also started generating the more of sales. So how much of the sales which comes from performance marketing, like your email campaigns, right? Or your promotional campaigns, which end into buying a product, versus a traditional sales, or versus through a traditional sales channel, which is being taken by uh, your sales team, right? In fact, more than this, now digital IT function is known as mostly in the organization as digital functions because of getting transformation into the digital transformation, getting into a digital transformation journey. Even that function has started contributing into the sales by exploring new channels for sales. How the data can help you to get more sales rather than going through the traditional channel. So performance marketing, social media marketing analytics, and it has again a lot of KPIs under it, which are examples of certain metrics that we may have under the marketing metric space. So those are the four buckets under which I have categorized the different metrics uh, on the ground and also on the digital channel KPIs that we measure it out as part of marketing metrics. Moving to the next slide, this is something which I have taken up from Gartner. Gartner gives you a certain tiers on the basis of which you measure certain metrics. So it defines the metrics into 4 tiers as we see it in this particular diagram. The tier 4, which is the tactical levers, where you have where you have a measurement of the awareness, the impressions, the email sent, how many of them, the engagement events, activities, visits, uh, campaigns, promotions, etc. Then second, they have website analytics, which is being done in terms of Google Analytics today that we have it, which by automatically gives you the traffic. You do not need to have any additional application on that. The campaign performances, the content performances that you publish over your website or you publish over the web. Post that, it goes into a tier 3 operational levers and diagnostic, where they calculate or they measure on your audience reach on the basis of this campaign reach and engagement, channel engagement, etc., etc. So I'll leave this to you to go through the slide later, but this is how they have uh, categorized that. We roll up the metrics ultimately to the top business outcomes and goals. So at the end, if you see, all of these metrics have an impact on your revenue, have an impact on your market share, have an impact on your EBITDA and the year over revenue growth. So that's the top business goals on the basis of which the metrics gets landed up. So these are the different tiers at a tactical level, at an operational level, at a strategic lever and macro performance level, and as a business outcome and goal level, what metrics it gets rolled up into, or how the bottom metrics get rolled up into the tier 1. That's what has been defined by Gartner as a journey to measure these metrics, starting from the tier 4 to tier 1. I've kept the example of social media marketing metrics in this page or in this slide, and I've taken an example of a dashboard as well, which was being measured in one of the organization, where you can see the traffic overview, the followers versus the subscribers, how many social media influencers are part of your following groups, uh, different email marketing campaigns that they were running and their metrics, what was their reach versus what was their conversion that was happening over days as a trend which they have given. So digital media again has become very, very important. So that's where I wanted to have one slide on it. Different metrics that you used to measure in a digital media space or in a social media marketing space was the number of visitors to your website, blog, or social media pages. Now, most of the FMCG companies, they have their own marketplace. For an example, if you talk about, let's say, Tata's, they have NutriCorner, they have Soulful. Every business enterprise, what they have their own selling engine or the selling website as well. So that's where it's important to understand how much is the traffic that people are coming or people are landing to our website, which is on the basis of this. The leads, that is the number of people who have expressed the interest in your product or the services by submitting their contact information or filling out a form, right? A high value items normally tend to get into a inquiry and then get into a sales conversation, right? Normally a low value item is something which is directly ordered on the website. So leads is something which is probably in a high value item or mostly in the B2B business space that it works with. Then it comes the conversion rate, where the percentage of the website visitors who take a desired action, such as making purchase or filling out a form. That's your conversion rate. The cost per acquisition, which is the amount of money that you spend to acquire one customer or one lead. In a simple language, this is the marketing spend that you have spent on the overall, I would say, the overall people to whom you wanted to reach, divided by the number of customers that you have acquired. So for an example, if your reach was 1,000 people and you have acquired 10 customers out of those 1,000 people, so the spend that you had done to reach 1,000, right, divided by the number of customers that you acquired out of 1,000, let's say 10, is your cost per acquisition. Then your return over investment, the amount of revenue which is generated from a marketing campaign or the initiative divided by the cost of the campaign. That's your return over investment. The customer lifetime value, the total value of the customer to the company over the entire period till YTD, which is year to date. That's your customer lifetime value. This is again one of the important one because this ultimately helps you to understand the pocket size of the customer and your share in the pocket size of the customer. So that's again a very, very important KPI which is being measured in today's world. The net promoter score is the second level that defines how satisfied your customer is and loyal your customer is and how advocate your customer is, right? We have an advocacy as a stage in marketing. That tells me how many customers are your advocates or they are likely to recommend your products to the others. That's your net promoter score. The social media engagements like your comments on your post, your likes, your followers, etc., are your social media engagement. The email open rate and click-through rate. The percentage of people who open an email and the percentage who click in an email, right? Uh, that's your again part of the performance marketing, where today I can actually see how many of those who have at least opened up the email or have clicked on that to reach to the landing page. I can capture all of the information. Then is the ad impression and click-through rate, which is very, very similar as the email ones. The number of times an ad is displayed and the percentage people who click on the ads. So everybody sees on your daily news websites, etc., a column which is there where the ads keep on changing because of the products that you keep on visiting on the website or on the internet. Accordingly, Google ad space customizes an ad for you, right? And that's where we measure the ad impressions, and the organizations are being charged on the basis of the ad space that they cater to, right? So that's where we measure the spend that's being done on the ad impressions and the reach that I get through the ad impressions. That's another example of social media marketing. So I said marketing has spent or marketing has been into a lot many spaces now: performance marketing, digital marketing, getting into SEO, getting into social media marketing. There are different facets of that. So these are few facets specifically from an FMCG perspective that I have shared it as part of the metrics that we measure today in marketing. Coming to a couple of case studies, which I would like to just share. So first of the case study which I like to share is the customer data platform. Previously, there was a lot of stress or there was a lot of focus on to understand a buyer's journey, right? But now the focus is more to understand a customer's journey. Previously, you used to have this kind of funnel, which is customer as an afterthought. You do a marketing, it gets converted to certain sales, and then ultimately you land to your customers. But now everything revolves around your customer, be it marketing, be it sales or your service, etc. Your customer is the center part of it. That's one thing to notice as a change that has happened. Now, why this change has happened? Because previously we used to do a lot of exercise on the clustering, on the classification of my type of customers. But now every customer is unique for me. The characteristics of one customer to another customer differs a lot. And losing a customer from your platform is a biggest loss that I can have it, right? Because getting that customer, acquiring it back, it's very, very difficult. So from that construct perspective, the new concept or technology, I would say a concept, but the technology has aided to that concept that has come up is the customer data platform. Very simple example that I'll take it in a customer data platform today is the super apps which have come up. Now, what does a customer data platform does? It combines the data from your multiple tools and application to create up a centralized customer database containing data on all the touch points and interaction with your product or service that you have it. right? For an example, let's say I am a conglomerate and I have 4 different websites through which I offer the product to my customers. Let's say I have 4 different enterprises and I have different products in those websites through which I order. Let's say one of the website is for electronic products. Let's say one of the website is for Apple. Let's say one of the website is for FMCG product, etc., etc. Right now, how do I make sure that the Vishal who is coming to buy an FMCG product is also the same Vishal who is coming to my electronic website and buying my electronic products as a laptop, right? How do I trace that Vishal has gone to my this particular store to buy it in person versus the same Vishal has also then landed up to my another store and it's the same customer buying a day-to-day products. So at the end of the day, it's a customer's journey that I'm tracking. So I don't need to tell you the super apps that we have it on the in the country today, but the main objective of super apps and customer data platform is to accumulate and unify the customer's data. Make the customer data as unified to understand the characteristics, the movement, and the journey of the customer for the products in my organization. So that's where it has evolved the concept of customer data platform. Uh, Again, another example might be getting the data of the customer from the social medias, right? Tracking their sentiments onto our post, tracking their sentiments onto our product promotion campaigns, and tying it back to the consumption that the same customer is having from my product, tying it back to my CRM platform where I'm recording the customer complaints, assigning the priority of customer complaints on the basis of how important that customer is. So customer data platform actually helps a lot today in analytics uh, to any organization. It helps me to segment my customer. It helps me to prioritize my customers, and it helps me also to see the pocket size and the worth of my customer, right? So that's where it is bringing unification or unifying the customer's data to make it and understand that it's the same customer that I'm catering to. Otherwise, it happens that CRM has a different data, social media platform is giving you a different data, stores that you may have is giving you a different data, online channel sales is giving you a different data, right? It's very difficult to track all of them. But with the help of certain dimensions and characteristics, today customer data platform has enabled that tracking. And one more step that they have taken up is rewarding the customer for the sale or buying their products, rewarding them with certain recognition, promotion campaigns or programs, or certain monetary rewards, let's say the points or etc., on the basis of the overall spend that they do with the organization, right? So those are certain examples of a next step on the customer data platform. So what are the benefits for it? It helps you to organize the customer data and manage it pretty well. It gives you an insightful information which can be used further to do the customer analytics, like derive the higher return over your investment from the customers, understand the touch points at which you have it, or understand the touch points of your customers, and then understand also the worth. Is my customer more of an online buyer versus an offline buyer? What kind of a product a customer prefers to buy an offline versus what kind of product he's preferring to buy a online? So a lot of customer insights go when I have a unified data uh, for one customer. That has become a case study today in any organization that it is heading into. And mostly this has been very, very prevalent into the organization which has a product which cuts across the daily life of people. So that's where this has become up a really, I would say, a winning case. One more case study which I would like to discuss, I haven't kept a slide on that, was profitability analysis at the level of the different level of the sales and the product hierarchy. So in sales, we do have a sales channel, right? And similarly, in the product, we do have the product hierarchies, which is being defined. For an example, if you take up, let's say, the Dove 250-gram soap that we buy, it may roll up to the next level, which is called maybe the brand, or which may be called as a category, let's say soap. Soap rolls to the next level, let's say brand rolls to the next level, let's say home and personal care, and then it may roll up to the organization. So there are certain level of hierarchies which are being maintained from a data perspective in an organization for a product. Similarly, on the sales channel side, there are certain level of hierarchies which is maintained in terms of the sales channel. For an example, the modern sales uh, channel or supply chain may have a different hierarchy versus a traditional sales channel may have a different hierarchy. So identifying the expense that I do it at a different sales channel level and identifying the revenue that I'm getting from a different sales channel, that's on the one side, let's say on the x-axis, and on the other axis, identifying at which particular product or brand I'm getting a revenue of it, right? So classifying my expenses and revenue and calculating the profit at the different level of my sales and my channel, or sorry, at a different level of my product and my channel is another analytics or the metrics which we normally keep it, which feeds as an input to marketing, that what should be their spend broken down into at the level of brand versus at the level of channels versus at the level of region. Everybody now sees the regional ads. So on the basis of this channel region, I can decide my spend that I need to do for a particular brand, for a particular product, for a particular region. So breaking down your P&L at the lowest level of your product hierarchy and at the lowest level of your sales channel hierarchy is one of the another case study that I wanted to share. Rolling it up at each level so that you can see that is my spend on the brand making better sense versus is my spend on the particular product making better sense. For an example, again in the FMCG space, you would have seen there are certain ads which showcase you the brand, or it basically uh, focuses the objective at a brand like Dove, like Lux, right? And you may have different products under that brand. While there are certain ads which focuses specifically to the product, right? So it helps to decide at what's the level I should do a spend to achieve the best revenue. So depending on the different market, there are different logics that we had put up into it, understanding the market situation, that how should I divide my expenditure. The complexity in such case study comes up, or in such scenarios had come up, where how do I decide that, how do I divide my expenses, which I put up on a brand to its product level? Because ultimately the next level of hierarchy is the product after, let's say, the brand. So how do I fragment my expenditures from the brand to the product, right? Similarly, the revenue impact on a product, how do I relate back to the certain expenditures which are done at a above level of the hierarchy? So those are certain challenges on which you need to think on, and depending on the different market, we apply certain logics in our analytical engine, and then we share it with the marketing team that this is how your profitability analysis at the channel and at the product different hierarchy levels looks like. So these are the two case studies that I wanted to share from FMCG perspective, which have been recently implemented doing that. So probably I just wanted to check if we can open the floor for questions, and then I move on to the practical session on the Power BI. Uma ma'am. Okay, so maybe we would like,
Yes.
Hello, sir.
Yeah. So,
Yes,
ma'am,
that would be good. In case anybody has any questions, please you can pose it. And I see that there are no questions in the chat box.
Ma'am, shall I ask question now?
Yes, yes.
Sir, this is Saravanan from Congo Engineering College.
hi, Saravanan, sir.
Yes, sir. Very good. Good evening, sir.
Good
So
afternoon.
actually, you told that you are getting a data from ICMR and then Kantar or some of the data company.
Yeah.
So it is, you can get a data from the people, company like these companies. Once the country has developed, everyone is using some or gadgets like through GP or something else or car something else. So I bet you can get a easy data. India like country, how you can get a data, that much of data, you can correctly pinpoint, you can pitch the company, can pitch the consumer mind. How it is possible for a country like India?
Sure.
Can you
So,
get data, correct data from these companies from India?
absolutely. So, I'll answer that question. So, AC Nielsen, IMRB, Kantar, they're actually specialized into the market research. They do have touch points at the end of the leg, which is with your consumer. If I talk specifically with Kantar, Kantar actually goes home to home and takes a survey of data. So, of course, when it's a secondary data you get from another organization, there is a little bit of a doubt in authenticity. But I would say that how do we used to validate it? By seeing out our sales data which they gave it to us. For an example, let's say Nielsen says that market share of, let's say, Tata Gold is 10% in this particular state. Now I know it also because I have sold those units to state, right? So for an example, if I give Tata Gold to that particular state depot as 100 units, right? I know that that particular depot is only entitled to sale in that state because that's a state pack or the GST, etc., which he cannot sell outside the state. So from a validation perspective, yes, we used to do that, such kind of validation and checks when we were doing it and not, of course, blindly believing it. And that was the answer to your authenticity. There was a little bit of a variance, I'll say. But that variance was not much. It was not like 40-50%. If I could say in the approximate range, because the range used to differ with the product to product. Probably a low market share product may have a high variance, but that variance was not more than 10 to 15% in terms of the data that I used to get. Second, the first part of your question was, do I get? Yes, it's easy to get the data, specifically in an FMCG space today with the companies like AC Nielsen. Yes, you have to subscribe it. There is a time gap. For an example, today's data, which is, let's say, April end, I used to get it by 10th of May. So I'll again share some challenges. By the time I'm going to execute on my market strategy for that particular month, my half the month is gone. Right. So it's a little bit of a delayed, and we worked differently with their leadership to at least get that cut down number of days, building a direct pipeline with their database and getting the data into our analytics data backend, which is Snowflakes or any data lake that we may have, and directly sourcing the data from there rather than they sharing with us and then we ingesting into our data lake and then we doing the analytics. So that helped me to kill a lot of time by directly building up a pipeline and extracting and sourcing the data directly from such company system. So answer is yes, we do get it. Second answer, authenticity. It is authentic. I haven't seen a variance more than 10 to 15% so far. Hope that answers your question, Sarunan sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
Vishal, I have a question.
Sure, ma'am.
This is regarding the neuromarketing part of it. Is this really in practice today? I just wanted to understand any of those data points that you are able to get and use it in real time. If you can throw light about it.
Can you give a little bit elaborate on the neuromarketing, ma'am?
Neuromarketing, whether it is the kind of maybe the eye movements or those kind of aspects of it. If you go to a retail store, for example. So what is it that happens in the psychology of the the customer there?
Sure.
So are these things being tracked, and are they also being monitored? Because there is
Absolutely.
an entire subject on neuromarketing.
Mhm.
Is it still in the experimental phase, or has it really come into practice? Is what I want to know.
Sure, ma'am. So two parts I'll divide this: neuromarketing in the digital space and neuromarketing in the physical space. It actually started first with the physical space. I'll take a example of a apparel company outlet where I fortunately was part of it. And that was the time when we had the origination, or I would say the not the origination, but yeah, the mass spread of the CCTVs. Now, if you enter on any apparel company store, I'm not sure if how many of you who have been on the meeting bridge now have seen the security guard that stands, it punches something. So if maybe next time you visit a shopper stop or if you visit Upper Central, see it out the security guard who is standing at the front, he punches something in the hand. That is something which he counts the footfall of the store every hour. When we had the CCTVs now, we started understanding the customer behavior, whether the customer takes a left or a right after entering. That's the second thing we started doing it out. Third thing is, uh, if you would have seen, most of the apparel companies on the ground floor, they have a women's section. And the men's section is on the first floor or the second floor. And the kids section normally is there on the second or third floor. That's also because of a certain reason. So yes, we had started looking at neuromarketing very, very long back on the basis of customer behavior after entering the store. We also actually started seeing it out. How many customers even just skip out from the billing line if my queue is long? That helps me to see it out that if I want to increase my store performance, will adding a couple of more POS system will help me or not. So if you see specifically in some stores where during the sale time you have additional trial rooms, additional counters, right? That's also an outcome of that. It's not that we expect that I'm putting up a 50% sale, I'll expect a lot of people to come. No. So every POS system that I implement has a cost behind it, right? So that's where few examples of on the physical. Now coming back to the digital platform, it was very, very challenged to understand a customer behavior in a digital platform because a lot of platforms customer doesn't allow the app to use your cameras, etc., because of their personal privacy. And of course, if somebody I'm installing an app and it says I want to use your camera, I'll be a little bit suspicious. Then what to do? So we started tracking again the customer behavior, how the customer comes to the cart and goes back, how many days the product is lying in the cart of the customer. And we started identifying those practices. And then if you see most of the e-commerce companies, ma'am, uh, if you add a product to the cart, within few days you will get a promotion campaign for that, right? So that's how I started targeting it out. So I see, okay, customer is moving back and front, choosing other products, but again coming back to the cart and then moving back and front. Somewhere I get the customer is interested into it. And now it's how I trap a customer, I'll say. So that's again an example of digital neuromarketing. In fact, I had worked with one of the projects or an assignment with Swiggy, I can say that, where I have seen the percentage of customers who have come at what stage. So that's another metric that we tracked. How many percentage landed on the page of the restaurant but did not order? How many of them ordered the product, reached to the cart, but then changed their mind and then went to another restaurant page? How many of them clicked on the top page on the percentage offers that I run? When you open up a Swiggy, you see a certain percentage offers. How many of are waiting? Okay, rather than choosing a restaurant, let me see what's the topmost offer or what restaurants are offering to. So those were some of the examples of neuromarketing or understanding customer behaviors that we did from a digital and a physical perspective, ma'am. Hope that answers.
Yes, thank you.
Sure. Any questions? We have it from the audience as well. I see some questions, ma'am, on the chat screen.
Yes, sir. I have posted it to your personal chat.
So explain. I'll take one, which is explain in detail how to confirm about the respective customer journey. Explain in detail how to confirm about the respective customer journey. I'm not sure what this question or who has posted.
See,
Can you a little bit elaborate more?
this is Dr. D.V. Ramana, Vishal.
Hi, sir.
What just now you said that customer will be monitoring closely from one shop to another shop and etc. That is the
Mhm.
thing I asked. How you are confirming that uh, that respective customer is the particular same name?
Okay, I'll
So
take
that is
up
a
an
journey. How you are journey?
sure, sure. I'll take a simple example, sir.
Uh-huh.
Let's say you are visiting. Let me take a hypothetical example that company doesn't much exist now. Let's say you're visiting any of the future store group. You have an app of future store, right? You have tied up your phone number on the future store, future group store. As soon as you enter your phone number when they do a billing, right? You get a bill which is a digital copy. Let's say you go to Central and you buy something. Then again you go to Big Bazaar. You enter your phone number and you buy something. Now that's where I track. It's the same Dr. D.V. Raman who's coming into it. Second example, which is very prevalent, I'll take it up right now, is everybody has seen the Tata New app. That's the second example of customer data platform.
I
I can
agree.
actually see that Dr. D.V. Raman has flown with Vistara from X location to Y. He has gone to Chroma to buy this. He has come to my Taj group of hotel to stay. That's where I can track the customer journey.
I agree.
Yeah,
But if I won't give mobile number, some of the malls, Big Bazaar and etc. or Spencer's, they won't take the mobile number.
right.
Just debit card will acceptable.
Yep.
So at that time, how will be finding out?
So there are certain characteristics which we track. For an example, you would have seen that if you don't give your mobile number with your debit cards, your name is something which comes into my platform,
Correct.
right? So it's not only a mobile number. As I said, there are a lot of other characteristics which I do a permutation and combination using my machine learning and AI models. I mean, even from your social media, I can get it in my customer data platform that this is the same profile of Dr. TV Raman who has been on my app. So that's where a lot of even when you log into a social media unknowingly, we certain times accept certain information from cookies and from other places which actually share the information back to us in
I
an
agree.
SEO
I agree.
space.
No,
Yeah,
so I appreciate your answers,
yeah,
but in analytics, it is becoming a challenge that if I give a cash,
yep,
then it will
correct.
be a challenge,
Yep,
right?
it is. So
Yeah.
it's not a 360-degree. We do have
Yeah.
certain junks as well,
Correct.
but
Correct.
if you are able to get at least 80% right,
Mm-hmm.
it becomes easy, sir, because it's not about just one touch point at a customer.
Correct.
There are
Correct.
multiple touch point. For an example, I'll tell you a simple example. We do have similar customers as well as part of our database, but certain cases when you have any problem with the product, you go back and you return. To at least have the return process being managed, you share your phone numbers or you share your information, right? So at a multiple touch point and in the bigger journey, we tend to get certain data where that junk gets converted to a qualified data. So that's where we say that in our data analytics space that no data is a waste data. We do archive it, which definitely get qualified into a later stage. But yeah, there are of course scenarios which I cannot have that 100% right.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Absolutely right. Sure, sir.
Thank you, Vishal.
No problem, sir. Let me take the next question. How to count customer footfall, physical stores and online also. So from a physical store perspective, Chitra, I think I gave you an answer where you have the CCTV footages on the basis of which we can do the ML and the AI to count the unique customers, not just a footfall, but the unique customers that comes in a day. If you visit 4 times, still you'll be counted as one customer. So that's on the physical. Before CCTV, as I told you, we used to have security guards, we used to place up we used to have a machine you used to place, and that was a manual counting that was being done on the store. Second, is the number of bill cuts that happen at this store. Of course, it doesn't give a footfall, but it gives a conversion rate compared to the footfall which is being captured by the security guard. It at least tells me to validate that what's the footfall versus what's the conversion rate. Of course, my conversion rate will be lesser. I mean, then the customers who buy it or get a bill cut will be lesser than the customers who have visited the store, right? So it helps me to validate that information. Now, coming to online, that becomes very, very easy for us because any e-commerce, you cannot buy it without logging in with your email ID, right? And as soon as you get onto the app, you open the app, that triggers me the data. It helps me to know that today how many times Chitra has come to my app, how many times Chitra has ordered, how many times Chitra has just been there at the cart and did not order. So that's, I think, answers your question, Chitra, from your perspective. Customer footfall, physical stores versus online, right? Hope I answered that, Chitra.
So,
Yeah, Prasanna, please go ahead.
so this Prasanna from IZ Business School.
Hi, Prasanna.
I have one small question. It's like, if I take as an example, direct selling companies, there are more companies and more number of customer also. So if I want to do any analysis like market related or data analysis, so what on what base I can take samples, because there are more number of customers are there. I cannot go with the population count. So on what base I can take samples and how to analyze their market, and particularly what type of data can be considered for my analysis, because different many companies, a number of customers, and their on what base particularly I'm going to do analysis part.
Sure,
Yes.
Prasanna. So I'll basically go into how do we do analytics, right? So first of all, of course, it's very, very important to understand the objective or the outcome that you want to achieve. For an example, the objective question may be, do I need to spend more on marketing on a particular state to expand my reach? Or do I need to spend more on consumer benefit offers on a particular state to expand my reach? Right? That can be a question. It can be a question statement for which you want to analyze. So any thing which you want to analyze, it should have a question statement or a hypothesis or a objective to it. Accordingly, you choose your data. It's not always that you may always choose a sales data. Certain times you may use your CRM data to analyze the root cause of your customer complaints. What have been those major root causes which I can improve so that I can decline my customer complaints? I'll take a very simple example, Prasanna. Maybe that's not related to marketing, but in IT, for a particular month, when we implemented a new system, we got a 10,000 tickets. Now imagine 10,000 tickets, which are the issues from the people. How much time it would have been taken by a person to solve it out, right? We did a root cause analysis. Out of those 10,000 tickets, there were 70% of the tickets which were just because of the password change. And we took a step of doing a single sign-on. Single sign-on means when you log into your laptop, the same password is being automatically taken care for all the applications. You don't need to sign on for different applications in the organization. And it helped me to cut down my 70% of the tickets. So that's what I was saying is you need to have the objective, you need to have, then choose the data that you want to have. And then it comes that, okay, this is the application I want to choose the data. Now cut it down to or slice it down to that particular region or to that particular state for which you want to analyze. That would be my short answers as a step of analysis. And then comes your modeling, then comes what type of analysis you want to do. Then come whether it's a diagnostic, descriptive, prescriptive, predictive, or AI or ML or regression, etc., that you can do it on top of it. Hope I answered that question, Prasanna.
Yes, of course. Thank you.
Thank you. So let me just go to the questions which are there in the chat box already. Some people have posted it out. The last question.
Sir,
Yes.
I have a small question.
Sure, ma'am.
So once we determine the sample size in a population where we are totally unknown about the population, we have by using the formula either or we are taking above 50% if we are totally unknown that population, how can we determine that whether that selected sample is meeting the criteria if we are totally unknown about the population?
Okay, so if you're totally unknown about the population or the vicinity, ma'am, if I would have been at your place, I would have been saying that whatever the highest set of data that I can get for that particular selection is good for me. So if I talk about, let's say, the predictive analytics, ma'am, when you develop a certain model to do a certain prediction, you do a testing of the model. So let's say if I talk about demand forecasting, I do develop up a demand forecast model where I say that these are the top 10 factors which influences my demand and these are the weightages and this is how my model looks like. Now, how do I test the authenticity of that model? It would be good that I have a large data set. 3-year data set I use to train the model and probably 2 years data set I use to test the model. Imagine I have a data from 2015 up till 20. So I'll give 2015 to 18 data as an input to the model to train it. And then on the basis of that, I'll predict the data for 2019 and 20, and then I'll see whether the accuracy level is matching with the actuals of 2019 or 20. That is one of the approach with which I would say the maximum data I have that helps me to do the forecasting. And in the predictive analytics, it's a well said, the more the data is, the better is the prediction. Because ultimately your ML models, they learn on the basis of the data that you feed in. And it automatically, today the model or IT has gone up till its stage that it automatically tweaks the model on the basis of how your actual market is behaving and actual market data is coming in. Do I answer that question?
Yeah, excellent suggestions.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you. Let me go to some chat screen questions. Need some information on customer touch points. I hope that I have answered the customer touch points. Explain the detail about confirm about the respective customer journey. Hope that is also answered. Customer footfall, Chitra, I have answered. Kirti says, please share this PPT. I hope Uma ma'am will share it with you, of course, later post this session. Please elaborate on UOB added an UOB sales in the last 6 months under secondary sales that Dr. CNM Lavanya says. So UOB means unique outlet build. In an FMCG, we always see what is our organic versus an inorganic. So imagine up till 2022, I had 1,000 outlets. And current year, let's say in 2023, I compare the sales of 1,000 outlets today versus what was, or I compare the sales of 2023 FY for the 1,000 outlets against the sales of same outlets in the last year. That is my organic growth. Now coming to the inorganic growth is, I also have a target to add new outlets. Day by day, the new shops are getting open, right? My customer data is expanding. So, and also I need to have a impact on my reach. I need to expand my reach. So there's also a target to keep on adding new outlets every month. And that's where we measure the sales of the new unique outlets built versus the unique outlets built. So for an example, when I say unique outlet build, let's say in the month of April, I have total number of outlets, let's say in my database for a particular city is 100. But from a uniqueness perspective, though that particular city might be highest in terms of sales across the country, but from a uniqueness perspective, I see that only 20 outlets have been making the orders to me. Then what are those other 80 outlets doing? So that's where the leadership team comes into play and they say that, hey, as a salesman, you are fulfilling your target. That's very good and nice, but it's your 20 customers who are doing your entire sales. Then what's your 80 customers are doing? That means my sales is expanding, my sales is getting high, but ultimately my reach is not high because only 20% of my customers are just buying and 80% are sitting in silent today and they might be selling any other products. That is where it is important for me to understand the unique outlet build. In spite of I might be doing well in that city, region, etc. But to understand my reach, I need to have a unique outlet. And to understand the inorganic growth or the new set of growth that I come in is to understand the sales happening from the new unique outlets added every month, or the new unique outlets build which were added in that financial year and which were not there in my last financial year. So now those also have become part of the incentive for the salespeople. Hope I'm able to answer your question, Dr. CNM Lavanya.
Yes, sir. And just to add on to that, is it related to the Pareto principles like 20, 80, 20?
Absolutely, ma'am. Absolutely. It is related to somewhere there. But the main objective is I need to understand my reach impact. That's where I focus on the unique outlet build. Imagine, ma'am, you are a best customer to Shopper Stop and you go and do up a 10 times bill today in Shopper Stop. And let's say the overall billing today that would have happened might be, let's say, 15 bills. Out of that, 10 bills are yours only, right? And let's say the footfall for my store is 100. So if there was only 6 customers who have billed, what was our salespeople doing to convince the 94 customers, right? So ultimately, I have had my reach only to the 6 customers while the 94 came to the store because they were captured in the footfall, but I couldn't get them billed,
Conversion wasn't there.
right? So conversion is not happening, reach is not there. Those kind of things get elaborated with me from a unique outlets build perspective. And it often happens when you land up on the ground. Let's say if I take an example of Bangalore, let's say you got those 20 outlets in Whitefield. And if you, let's say, go to any other part of the city, probably your product would not be visible on the shelf because that 20% or that 20 outlets only are doing your sales, right? The other 80 are not doing it. So 80-20 was just an example, but it can vary from a percentage perspective in a different organization. So that's where unique outlet build is an important KPI to identify or to measure the reach in the market.
Thanks a lot, sir. And
Thank
CCA
you.
F40 is customer case failed on time, sir.
Customer case fail on time. It's a combination or multiplication of the number of times you have 100% delivered your ordered quantity in full multiplied by the number of time you have delivered on time. So let's say if the customer, your retailer or your distributor ordered you 100 quantity, and were you able to fulfill 100 or not? If you're able to fulfill 90, then that was your 90% from a perspective of quantity fulfillment. That means customer case fail was 90%. Now coming the next one, which is called on time. So if let's say you have committed a lead time of 10 days, how many times you were able to deliver the product within the lead time, right? That is something which is calculated in the percentage. When you multiply both the percentages and then again divide it, that's where you get the customer case fail on time. How many times and how much in quantity you were able to fulfill the demand in terms of quantity and time to your customer. I see a comment. Snail says CC Fort is related to OTIF. Absolutely right. OTIF and CC Fort is similar. Snail. OTIF is on time in full, and CC Fort is customer case fill on time. It's having a similar definition. So yeah, that says Prashant says in that case, can we have 384 as a sample size as this is the number data start showing normality? Sorry, I'm not sure where the 384 number has come up from, Prashant. If you can elaborate more, that would be helpful.
Yeah, it's in the Naresh Malhotra's book Marketing Research. It has been mentioned that for the large sample sizes which are nearly uncountable. So probably in that case, like 384 can be the sample size where the normality will start coming. That's what.
Okay. I'll little bit differ on that, Prashant, because normally what I've seen is specifically it depends on scenario to scenario. If you want to do a demand forecasting, there is a concept of RLF, which is right level of forecast. It's a combination of product hierarchy, time bucket, and the location hierarchy. That means at what level of product hierarchy, at what level of location hierarchy, and at what level of time hierarchy, week, month, year, etc. you're doing a forecasting. So in that cases, if I give at least a 5 years data, it's good for me. Otherwise, the model to understand, I'll have to give a substitute data. And we face a very, very problem statement comes in when we launch a new product, right? How do I know what's the market size? How do I predict the demand? I also do not have F, I would say full competitors data for that competition. So I try to relate that product with similar product. For an example, I'll take a very recent example, which is launching of flavor tea in the market. Now, flavor tea is a new concept, right? Probably difficult to understand what will be the demand. So I try to relate that data to the green tea and try to somehow predict a normal percentage of demand forecasting rather than 100%. So depends on the different scenarios. But my recommendation is from a prediction perspective. If you want to have it from a predictive perspective, the higher is the sample data that you take it up. Break it down into what you test versus what you feed. That's absolutely important. But the more the data is, the better is the result that I've seen it into the ML models. Hope that answers, Prashant.
Yeah, perfectly fine. Perfectly fine.
Sure,
But the
thank you.
point here is like, in case, what will be our maximum bandwidth? Like, what is the maximum limit that we need to consider? Because what will happen, like maximum data, so then 500, 600, because if you are having a big sample or maybe big universal set of the data, in that case, like finding out the right sample size remains a big enigma.
Mm-hmm.
So probably that was a question of another lady who has asked this question. So probably I am also remaining clueless. So I was till this point of time perceiving maybe probably 384, maybe a magic number. But since you are saying, so probably
Yeah.
in that case, like what shall we do? What is the maximum number? Yeah.
One suggestion what I would give is always try to exclude the abnormalities. So, and this is what we have done it again in the FMCG sector. The 2 years of the COVID, where we was difficult to predict or was an unbalanced demand and supply, we have actually excluded from our database when we do any prediction, because those are my abnormalities. And it of course leads to a wrong result. So we tend to move away from the abnormalities data in such case. I'm not sure if most of you know, now the tier 1 cities demand have gone up and the tier 2, tier 3 cities demand in FMCG sector has gone down. It's because of the shift of the people from tier 2, tier 3 to tier 1. Now, if I use the COVID data, it all gives me a dump prediction. So I try to exclude all the abnormalities. Similar abnormally happened when we had implemented GST. There was an upheaval in the systems because of GST. How will it work tomorrow, etc., etc. So that was again a abnormally that we exclude. So we try to exclude such abnormally from the data to have the right prediction. But yeah, the more and more it is, the better it is.
Right. But in that case, like since you are giving this example, one more query is coming to my mind. Shall I go for it?
Sure, please go ahead.
In such kind of the chaotic situations, maybe probably which we have seen last 2 years during the pandemic time, the demand for the mask or the demand for the hand sanitizer. So would it not be possible anyhow to predict the demand of such kind of products in such kind of the scenarios? It may be a pandemic kind of situation, or it may be any situation where we are launching a new product, or when we are passing through such kind of the situation where prediction of the demand is a bit difficult. In that case, what should we do actually?
So any prediction that we do is depending on availability of either your past sales data or availability of the factors which is influencing your sales. These are the two things which actually helps you to do a right prediction. For an example, in the case of COVID, the factors data was available, but probably the past sales data was not the right. So that is the two legs on which you can depend to have the right prediction.
Yes, we are having some very excellent discussions, a lot of questions coming up,
Thanks.
but we are limited with time. So Vishal, can we move on to the next
Sure.
practical component of it?
Absolutely.
And then we can reserve the questions in case time doesn't permit, we will probably mail those questions to you and you
Sure.
could respond back. That also
Absolutely. Absolutely, ma'am.
Yes.
I'm really excited to have such an interactive session. Sorry for limiting the time for it, but yeah, let's go ahead with Power BI now.
Yes.
That's the important part of it.
And,
So I'm
and just that one observation that regarding the 384 number, I think there is a bit of a difference between those statistical models and machine learning models. I think machine learning models work with huge volumes of data. So I think that big data, that is what makes a difference. And there we cannot limit to 384 as you can do with statistical modeling. Just like to add that. Yeah.
Sure. So just to start off with Power BI, I'm just sharing up a sample data set onto the chat screen so that everybody could download. Let me just share up a file. Ma'am, I'm not able to drop the file in the chat box. I'm not sure why that's happening. I'm not sure if I'm having the rights to do that or. Let me just quickly send it as a mail to you, ma'am, if you can drop the file in the chat box.
You can send it to me on WhatsApp. That will be helpful. I can share it in the WhatsApp group of the participants so that they'll have access to it.
Absolutely, ma'am. Just it's coming on your way. Till the meanwhile, I request everyone to please open up Power BIs in your laptop, and I'm also opening it on my end.
While we are doing that, can I just ask one small question? While I understand that customer data platform is a proprietary thing for every company, and it takes time to build it. If I'm a startup, are there any companies that offer it to me off the shelf?
Absolutely, ma'am. There are few companies with which you can get the customers' data or your target data as well. So yes, there are companies which offer you the data for your respective target segment. Plus, you also run certain few promotion campaigns when you want to have your spread of the new organization reaching to the broader audience. That's also another way where you collect the data for the people who have been landing onto your page or who actually come and show up certain activities on the promotion campaigns that you run.
Thank you.
So hope ma'am you're able to get the file from me.
Yes, it has been shared in the WhatsApp group of the participants. Please download it from the WhatsApp group.
Fantastic. So I'm just sharing my screen back on the Power BI. Hope everybody is able to hope everybody is able to see the screen of the Power BI, which I have it on my desktop.
Yes,
yes.
Fantastic. So just to give a little bit of a intro, Power BI is a visualization tool which helps you to project your data to your end consumer of the data. So I always love working with the end customers. So that's where this tool is close to my heart. So any tool like Power BI, Tableau, ClickView, you would have heard today in the market. These are all the similar tools. Now, the data which I have shared, that is something which I'll be using it to connect. So if you see in this Power BI, there's an option called Get Data. So it has a lot of connectors which are inbuilt in it. There are, I think, probably more than 100 connectors. If you see this and click on the more, you will be able to see that 100 plus connectors by which it helps you to source the data from different sources. So your data can be coming from, let's say, SharePoint. Your data might be coming
Vishal,
from, yeah,
just sorry to disturb you.
sure.
First, you just explain to us how to do that process. Again, please repeat again, once
Okay.
again, so that we will get a
Okay.
confidence. Okay. Thank
Sure.
you.
So hope everybody is able to open this particular page of Power BI, right? On each of the desks, on everybody's their own desktop, right? So now the first step that we do is connecting the data to Power BI. Any visualization which we make it has to have a data in the background. So that is what I was saying it out over here is how do you connect the data set which I've shared as a part of an Excel file to this Power BI desktop. So it's not only the Excel from which the data can be imported, but there are 100 plus connectors within the Power BI which can help you to import the data and bring it into the Power BI engine. So if I see this all, which is get data, I have clicked in. These are so many connectors which you see. For an example, you can import it from SharePoint list. For an example, you can import it from LinkedIn. For an example, you can import it from Hadoop files. Hadoop you have got to know it's a data lake. You can import it from Amazon Athena. Lot of such which we use it today is all available by default. Azure, Databricks, etc., etc. So first thing is you do not need any connector or a middleware or any other application to connect your Power BI to your data sources or to your data lake. That's the first thing which is on this. Now, by default, this is the view which comes up in the Power BI when you open it up. On the right-hand side, you can see these are a different type of charts which you can build in Power BI. If you see, this is a bar chart. If you see, this is a map, which Excel doesn't allows you to do it in Excel. You can see this is a donut chart. So a common question comes to me, why should I move to Power BI, right? Why can't I do this similar thing in Excel? The answer is, first thing is Excel has a limitation in terms of number of rows. Second thing is the processing of Excel is pretty slow compared to Power BI. Third thing is building a visualization and publishing it on the cloud. It's very easy in Power BI. For an example, if you build a certain report and you upload that report into the cloud version of Power BI, it can be accessible by the people that you want, with whom you give the rights. Probably an Excel file you will need to share every time by a mail, or you will have to put it onto a SharePoint page in the organization. Hence, from a visualistic perspective, from a processing perspective, Power BI is better. Second thing, or another thing I would say is refreshing your data. It's very easy and automatically. For an example, let's say your MD or the CEO wants to see the sales data every day in the morning. Excel, somebody has to prepare it, has to do it and send it to him over mail. But on Power BI, automatically the data is refreshed and brought to your visualization in the same pie chart, in the same bar graph that you have prepared it up. So it becomes an automated approach. You don't need to do that manual activity again and again. Now coming, there are three tabs which you see over here. One is the report view. That is where you build the dashboard, as it's a dashboard or a visualization tool. Second is this table, where when we import the data, you will see the data coming into Power BI engine in this particular tab. Third is the modeling. So modeling is when you import the data from multiple sources and you try to combine the data with the help of a primary and a secondary key, which we call it out in a IT terminology. So it's very simple. For an example, on one particular table, you have a customer master information. Second table, you have a customer transaction information. How do you combine both of them together? Probably with the help of customer key or with the help of customer ID. So that's where you join the different tables which come from a different sources in this particular tab. So Those are the three tabs. So what we will do is we will import the data which we have, which I've just sent you over your WhatsApp group into Power BI. And then we will build certain visualizations on top of this in your Power BI. So that's what we will do. So first step is go to your get data, which is click on the get data, and post that there will be an option to select Excel, or you can directly hit on this particular tab, which you can see right now is import data. So either do an Excel workbook selection from here and browse the window or browse the location where you have your Excel file, right? So let's hit select the Excel workbook. Let's hit connect. As soon as you hit connect, it's telling me to browse the file. So this is where I have the file I am browsing and I'm opening it. So please have a look at the screen. I'll pause for a while and I'll give you the time to do it. Meanwhile, let me showcase you the first step of connecting the data. So it is connecting to that particular file which you saw right now. And now you can see that it is loading the data into the Power BI engine. So if I click on this folder, I can see the various sheets of data which is present in the Excel file. So I'll click on the orders sheet. As soon as I click, you can see this is the preview of the data which has come on the right hand side. Order ID, order date, customer name, etc., etc. This is something which has come up on the preview tab. I don't want to load the other data. I just want to load the orders data, right? So I just click on orders and I click on load. As soon as you start hitting the load or you hit the load, it starts importing the data into Power BI engine. You can see that there is something which is load has come up and it is loading the orders data in the Power BI engine. Now, why does it loads the data into the Power BI engine? Because operating on the visualizations become easy. Another thing to note is if you change any of your row data in the Excel sheet, you will not see the effect on Power BI until you refresh. So there's a refresh button on the top. You need to save the data in your source or your Excel sheet, close the file, come back here, do a refresh. You can see that 9995 rows, all the rows which were there have been loaded. 10,000 rows approximately I had in the data. Yeah. So come back, refresh, then only get the reflected changes in your Power BI. So when it extracts the data into Power BI, your operation become faster. Hence, it tries to get all the data into the engine and then works with the visualization. So that's the first piece to say. So I told you that in the data view, once you have the data, you will be able to see the data. So if I click on the data view, you can see that the headers all are there and all the rows of the data which was there in the Excel have been now imported into the Power BI. And you can see the total number of rows is 9994. So this is how I import. So I'll pause for a while. I'll wait everybody to import the data. And in case you have any challenges, please do ask question. We'll be happy to help you. And even if you can share your screen, we can happy to guide you as well how to import data into the Power BI. So that's the first step, which is importing data to Power BI and bringing it data as an available for next step, which is building the visualizations or charts. Any questions up till this step? Okay, so I'll wait for everybody to import the data.
Vishal, I could able
Yes,
to see only two orders.
Uh,
Because I have seen a lot of things are there, right? Different types of
yes,
orders in your around
yes,
10
sir.
or 15, and you opted only order, right?
Yes, there should be
But
approximately, sir, 999, to be precise, 9994
let me
orders.
check that. Let me check that. But I could
Sure.
able to see only. Just one second.
Are you,
The data in the preview is being truncated due to size limit.
okay, so let me
To
just,
say load, right?
yes, just hit on load, sir. And probably after that, you should be able to see all. In the preview, it only takes few line items, but when you hit on the load, it gives you everything. And please make sure that you click on the order sheet when you are loading the data. You should check the order sheet.
Order sheet only I will click.
Sure. And then you will have a dialog box coming in saying connecting, and then it will automatically start loading the data.
Yes, create connecting in model.
Yes, yes. So it's ingesting the data into Power BI engine now.
Nine 9994 rows loaded.
Yes, absolutely fantastic, sir. That's the precise number. Maybe I'll wait for others also to do, and would request to please type on L for load once the data is loaded into the Power BI engine in the chat box.
It is saying it is.
But the data is not displaying.
Sir, if you go to this tab, which is called data view, then you will be able to see the entire data set. On the left-hand side, this is a data view tab.
Good. Thank you so much.
No problem, sir.
Sir, I cannot connect with the data itself.
Sorry, Dr. BV, can you please repeat?
Yeah, I cannot connect with the data. It says that unable to connect. We encountered an error while trying to connect. Excel workbook is provided, not registered on local machine. What is this?
Have you got the file downloaded to your machine, and do you have Excel in the machine?
Yeah.
Okay, can you open the workbook in Excel first and see if it is getting opened up?
Workbook, yes, I can see that file.
Okay. I would request you to, if you can share your screen, that would be really helpful.
Okay. I'll do that. Yes, here.
Yes, just click on the import data from Excel.
This is my sample superstore.
Sure, sir. Just select that. Open.
Like this is
Able to open details. Excel workbook provider is not registered. Okay, this happens, sir, because might be your Excel, you wouldn't have signed in. So let's do one thing. Let's convert the Excel file into a CSV format.
Which one?
The Excel file which you have it, the sample superstore, just open up in Excel.
Okay.
And convert that into a CSV format. So what you can do is you can do a save as and just have only one sheet into your Excel, which is the order sheet, and delete the other sheets. And when you do a save as, there will be a comma separated version or comma separated file CSV. You need to convert that into a CSV format and then come over here and get the data or connect the data using a CSV file.
Okay.
I can see your Power BI screen. Maybe if you have an Excel screen, you can share. I can just quickly guide you as well.
Okay.
Vishal, it's a hot stop at 4 o'clock, right?
Yes,
because
sir.
I'm having another meeting.
Okay. So maybe then I'll go to the next step now.
No. Don't let them complete. Tomorrow you can continue that.
Sure.
Because most of the people are not confirmed, I think, right?
Yes, I can see few responses in the chat box. A few I'm waiting for everyone to be typing in the chat box.
Vishal, can I say something?
Sure, ma'am.
Vishal, is Power BI available for Mac also? Because I have been trying to
No,
find.
ma'am.
No, it's not.
It's not available. Sorry for that.
Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately Microsoft works with their own Windows.
Yeah, they have for iPad, but for Mac, I'm not able to find out.
Yes.
That's fine. Thank you.
Yes. Anybody else also had a question? So this particular file, sir, you can go to file and do a save as. In the save as, save with CSV format. Probably I'll take up the screen back and let me share my screen. So I see a lot of responses in the chat box, which are saying that it's done. So with that, I'll move forward to showcase you how we can have few visualizations. And then you can also work on your data set, which I have shared, to build more visualization. So we talked about unique outlets built in the presentation. In the data set, if you see on my screen at the right side, I see the orders data sheet, which is the data tab or the data sheet that I have imported. Under that, I see all the fields which are there. So for an example, all the fields which were there in my Excel sheet, I can see as part of this particular data set over here, which I'm just dragging my or hovering over my mouse right now. So let's make few visualizations. So for an example, first I'll use the map, which is one of the good visualization, which is there in Power BI, not in Excel. So let me click on a map. So when I click on a map, I see that there is something which has come in this canvas. So this is the canvas in which I prepare up my visualization. Okay. Now, one thing which I definitely need for any map is the location. So below this particular charts, you have something similar to the pivot that we have it in Excel, where you can drag and drop the fields. So you can see that under this, I can drag and drop my fields. So for map, it's asking me the first option as location. Maybe let me give the state as my location. So I'm just searching the field state and I got this field. I'm dragging the state on the location. As soon as I drop the state under the location, you can see that it has given you the bubbles on the location or the state that you have got. So there are three types of maps. There is a globe, there is a filled map, and there is a shape map. So let's say if I want to convert to a shape map, I convert like this. So this gives me entire United States, which have been covered on the basis of my state in the shape map. Now the next comes is the legend. Now in the legend, let's say I want to give a field called region, which is I have divided my data into north, south, and east and west. So I drag the region and bring it to the legend. If you can see that in the legend now, I've got 4 different colors for 4 different regions: the central, the east, the south, and the west. So I've got 4 different colors. So now my objective is to see out how many unique customers I have it in which particular state and in which particular region, so that I can see the reach. Okay, so I'll pause for a while. I'll request everyone to prepare this field map, which is by selecting this, bringing the state and region into the field and come at this level, so that then I can move ahead to bring out the customers which are there in each of the state.
Can you repeat again?
Sure.
Yes.
So first, I'll do it once again. So this is by default, I believe everybody is able to have the screen. I have selected a field map. I click on the field map and then I have to make a visualization using a field map. Once I make a field map, below I see there are different drop-down options available in this, like the pivot table we have it in the Excel. So any map, of course, requires a location. Until you give a location like a state or a city, Power BI doesn't understand what you want in a map, so that it can concise the map for the respective area you need it. So in terms of location, I have a field called state in my data. So I drag the state and bring it under location. When I bring that into location, I can see that my United States have got highlighted. That means my states which are there, those are all part of my United States. That's the data set I have it. Now I want to divide my entire United States on the basis of the region. I've got 4 regions. I have divided my states into the different region. Now what I do is I bring the region as a legend. So I bring the region and drop it under the legend. So now we can see that it has broken my United States into the region, which is 4 regions, which I can see it as part of my current map. So you can see on the top as a legend, West, South, East, and Central. These are 4 regions which I have brought up in my map. And all the states which I have it in my data have been highlighted by the respective region color and is also coming when you are hovering over to it. So this is how I break down or shade my region-wise state in the map. So I request everyone to complete up till this and type M for map in the chat box once done. I see a question from Mr. Prashant saying that, can I use a browser version? If it works for you, definitely go ahead. But if you have a desktop version, that would be better in terms of having all the features, Mr. Prashant.
Vishal sir, I have a query.
Sure.
Okay, I'm getting the screen like this, what you have shared, right? But in the data part, I'm not getting the sheet of orders over there.
You're not able to get this orders?
Yes.
Have you connected your data, the Excel sheet that I shared or that ma'am shared over the WhatsApp?
Yes.
Sir,
So
even me too, sir. I'm also not getting to connect it. It's showing it's connecting, but it's not uploading, sir.
Okay, check one thing. Are you able to see the data in the data tab over here in the data view?
Yes. We could able to see the data.
If you're able to see the data, then ideally it should be coming over here like this. So for an example,
And let me check.
So if it is a hidden, then probably you need to just open this up. So in case you might be seeing like this, you need to expand this whichever tab you want. So it might be coming like this, and this might be hidden in this case. If that's the case, just expand it and expand this sheet as well.
Sir, I have expanded the data tab, but it is only showing the search box only. That's it.
Oh, let me just stop sharing my screen, and if you can share it from your side, sir, would be helpful.
Yes. Are you able? Okay. Are you able to?
It's loading for me. Yeah.
Okay.
So can you go on the left-hand side in your data where I was showing you the preview of the data?
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So you're able to see the orders data over here and go on the visualization again on the top. That's not coming over here. Okay.
Yes.
Can you come on the models, the bottom one? That's also you are able to see it. Show the database, the header when. Actually, it's a very small screen which I can see of yours. To read it, it's a little bit difficult. There's one, I think, option which is not enabled, which is not. Sure. Come back to the top one. That is strange. I'll have to look up to one of the settings over there. Ideally, I think it should be visible. Normally, it comes in. Probably something is disabled in this case.
Vishal, I have a kind of a different problem.
Okay.
Yeah, I am trying to share, but maybe sorry, the other participant needs to, then I can share. Now this is what I am getting. Map and field map visuals are disabled. So I have from that thing, but it's not showing.
Yeah, so for that you need to go to File
Okay.
And in the settings, options and settings, then options, there would be an option to enable the field map there. So come to the, come below. Should be just a second.
It is, it is there under security option.
Okay.
Yes.
So what do we have to do over here?
Scroll a bit down. Yeah. Map and field.
Okay, this.
Yes, enable that. Map and field maps. Press OK. And then you should be able to get it. Just delete this visualization and again click it. You should be able to have. Just delete this. Just press delete after clicking that. Just press delete. Now again click back on the visualization of the field map. Yep. The right side. Yeah. Now you got it right.
Yeah.
That's there.
So now I have to just select that particular field over here, add to that thing, and then
So I'll suggest you to select the field map, which is the second one next to the globe. Select the field map, which is the next to the globe.
Okay.
Yes. And now you drop the state into the location.
Yeah.
And drop the region into the legend. Search the region and drop it into the legend. Fantastic, sir. You got the same that I have it with me.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Vishal.
Yeah.
I will share my screen.
Sure.
All right.
It's loading for me, sir. Yes, I can see now.
Now, when I'm clicking here,
yeah,
I'm not getting any visualization.
So you need to come back on the left-hand side, sir. On the left-hand side, you need to go to the graph. You can see the three below three options are there.
Yeah.
The above one. Yes, report view. Now you can select the field map below. The right one, the next to the globe. The option next to the yes. Just click on that. Now expand that little bit canvas selection. Yes. And now you can drop the field state into the location. Just drop that into the location and drop the region under the legend. The region, you can search also on the top. You can type the region also in the search box.
No, I cannot get that on my phone. Can you please guide again?
Power BI on the phone?
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
You won't be able to do it into the phone, ma'am. You will have to have it on your desktop.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Yep. So you absolutely said you got it. What I have it with me as well.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Anytime, sir. No problem.
So
I hope.
Can I drop, sir?
Probably I'll just use 1 minute more, sir, just to showcase the unique customer. So I'm just sharing back my screen. Now this has got one of the visualization, which everybody, I believe, have created. Now I'll just prepare one more visualization next to it, which is a table. So I've just made the same. So ensure that you come out of that visualization to make it. Now I've clicked here in the canvas. I'm clicking on the table. Now in the table, what I need to have is I need to have my customers, right? So first of all, I bring my state over here. So into the columns, so it got all my state. Now I also bring my region because I have the region on the left-hand side. So I bring a region over here. And now I bring my customer ID because customer ID is something which is unique. And I drop the customer ID in the column. Now, let's do one thing. Let's do a count distinct. So if you see, you have got the customer ID exactly over here. If I do a count distinct, it is counting my customer for that particular region. So these are my unique set of customers for that particular state and region. Now I'll showcase you something. Now you got these two things. If I want to see by this particular state, let's say Kansas, automatically this particular gets filtered only to Kansas. I see that Kansas has 14 unique customers. If I click on Colorado, it got 75. So it works as a filter where on the right hand side, I can see how many unique customers I have in different state. Now, for an example, if you want to see only region wise, you can just remove the state. You can see that have been rolled up at a region level. 793 customers rolled up uniquely for Central, East, South, and West. So that's one of the visualization that you can build it. So these are all different type of charts. If you see this is stack bar chart. This is a stack column chart. This is a donut chart. If I want to convert the unique customer as a donut, I can just click that. Automatically my percentage of unique customer region wise have come like this. But I know that 27.43% customer is in the West, 26.95% in the East, 629, which is 25.15 in the Central, and this is in the South. So that's where I'll request if you can maybe play around with all the kind of visualizations that we have it as part of Power BI. It's a visualization tool with which you can prepare dashboards of the data and you can showcase it to the end consumer of the data.
Okay. So you will be sending this recording, right, today?
Recording of the session?
Yeah, so that we will try in the right. If
Absolutely.
possible.
Absolutely, sir. We'll do that.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Vishal, for giving a brief overview of the market. Thank you so much.
Sure. Thank you. Maybe
Yes.
with this. Yeah, with this one, probably would like to wrap up by the Power BI. If in case anybody has any questions, we can take up if you have a couple of minutes. Otherwise, we can also answer that over the mail.
Yes, as already informed, the recording of each of the session will be sent across. So you need not worry about that. You could practice at your own time. Yes, any questions? Maybe we can take up a couple of questions right away. We have already reached the time limit. So any questions, please post it.
Vishal, can you suggest some books or something, or maybe some websites or something regarding the marketing analytics or something? Maybe tomorrow.
Sure, sir. Are you looking?
Put it in the WhatsApp group. Put it in the WhatsApp group.
Sure.
Any related websites and maybe textbooks.
Definitely on marketing and
related
analytics.
To marketing analytics. Okay.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. I'll put it on.
You are in Kirti, madam. You are in the mute.
I'm saying I request you to please share the second part of the recording where you were taking up this. I'll probably download it on the laptop and do it or practice later on, for reference purpose.
Yes, as already been informed, the recording will be sent across to all the participants.
Thank you, Uma ma'am.
And just want the complete guidance about how to use this PBI, ma'am.
Can I take that question, ma'am?
Yes, please.
Sure. So, Prasanna sir, Microsoft has its own set of training, which I would prefer if you want to take it up. It doesn't require any cost to be signed for it. You can find it up. I can also share the link with Uma ma'am, for which you can go through step by step on Power BI. Since it's certified by Microsoft, it's their own tool. I would suggest to follow the Microsoft rather than having any particular trainers videos on YouTube. You can find many content, but I'll suggest to go through the videos which have been loaded as part of Microsoft website on this particular tool. It's a structured approach and tells you end to end from the scratch. Even a 5th standard kid can do it. So that's so simple they have made it. So I'll share the link as well with Uma ma'am later, where you can have a look at, and then you can plan your journey on the Microsoft Power BI learning.
Sure, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
The link to download Power BI step-by-step guide, all of it has been shared in the WhatsApp group. I hope all of you are part of the WhatsApp group. If not, please join. The link to join the WhatsApp group has also been sent to you. So if you are there in the WhatsApp group, probably you will get all the help that you need. Thank you.
Is there a feedback form, ma'am?
The feedback form will be at the end of the 5th day. So we are not collecting every day feedback forms. So we will be having it one at the end of the 5th day.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the clarification.
I would like to call upon Professor Vasudha to propose a vote of thanks.
A very good evening to all the participants. I, Professor Vasudha, I feel it's my immense pleasure to propose vote of thanks for the day one of our FDP program. First and foremost, on behalf of AMIT fraternity, I would like to extend a sincere thanks to Mr. Vishal. Thank you so much, Mr. Vishal. You have elaborated on several measurement metrics, and post which you have practically demonstrated how to visualize some of the measurement techniques with the help of Power BI. And it was so informative, and the session was very interactive. I appreciate your efforts for enlightening us with all the knowledge about marketing analytics and measurement metrics. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you, ma'am. My pleasure to be part of this session today.
Yes. So next, yes, I have to mention my deep sense of gratitude to all the participants who have been very active for almost last 2 hours. The interaction that we have had was very good. So thank you all the participants for your active participation in the day one of our FDP program. Thank you all the participants once again. And I would like to thank Dr. Venkatraman, sir, for all the support that he has extended in organizing the FTP and the success of FTP. I thank once again Dr. Venkatraman, sir, and I also extend my sincere gratitude to the management of Adarsh AMIT. I thank the management also. I think that's it. We are done with the day one session, and tomorrow, yes. So before we wind up, we just would like to take a photo. I would request all the participants to please turn on your video for a photo. Yes, thank you.
Ma'am, how to join the WhatsApp group where you have shared the link?
We have shared the link through an email that we have sent to you. Yesterday we have sent an email, so in which you can see the WhatsApp link as well.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, thank you.
Yes, with this, I think we wrap up the day one session. Tomorrow again, we are meeting at 2 o'clock. I request all the participants to please join at 1:55 p.m. tomorrow. Let us catch up tomorrow with the day two session. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a nice evening ahead and a day ahead for everyone.
Thank you, Vishal, once again. That was a wonderful session. And thank you, all the participants. Looking forward to meeting you all tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
So I'm ending the session, ma'am.